Here. I just want to say thank you, Winona, for always being one of our heroes. I know you say that, it's really flattering to hear that, especially from Winona yourself. Hamataki Hihani Wichapi, Mielo, na Washichu Ia, Nolan, Berglund, Amachiapi, Waniutuma, Ake, Shakoe, Hinamakcha, Pine Ridge, na Lame Deer, Himataha. Hello, my relatives. My Lakota name is Hihani Wichachpi, which means Morning Star. My government name is Nolan Berglund. I'm 17 years old. Grew up in the Twin Cities here in Minnesota. I'm an enrolled member of the Northern Cheyenne Nation, but I'm also Oglala Lakota. And I came up here today to be able to see all of your faces, and I really want to say thank you. It means a lot to know that there's so many people out there, whether you're Indigenous or not, that support this movement. It's really nice to see that. So give yourself a round of applause for just being here today. Thank you so much. And the reason why I really wanted to join this movement was for the future generations. It's really something to say that, but to really feel that passion for the youth. My niece right here, me and I care a lot about the youth, and I want my younger siblings and nieces and nephews to be able to grow up in a world where they can see beauty in the earth. I've been really grateful to be able to come up here and see the beauty that this earth has to offer, and I want to see that for the future generations. I don't want to grow up in a world where greed has overtaken the land and the waters, where our water is poisoned by these big corporations. I don't want to see that. My niece doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. So that's why I'm doing this today, and I want to say thank you. Opila. Takiyasi.
Hamadakiapi, Machbiawi, Hemachiapi, Wasijuya, Naomi Berglund, Hemachiapi, Ambetukile, Mitante, Washde Nape, Ochiuzapi. Hi everyone, my name is Naomi Berglund, and I'm currently a sophomore, and I was a student at Haskell Indian Nations University down in down in Kansas, I should say. And right now I'm studying environmental science and biology, so I'm on my third year. So not only am I studying for environmental science, I'm also a water protector, just along with my siblings and my relatives and all of you guys here today. And like my brother was saying, like, this is so important, not only for us Indigenous people, but everybody on this planet. Water is one of our vital sources of life. For every living thing, we need water. And just being here today I can feel that the vibes and the energy, and I know that everybody's here for one fight. And that's it. Thank you.
Happy Wash Day, everybody. Hello everybody, my Lakota name is Northern Light Soman and my English name is Nina Berglund. I'm 19 years old, I'm a recent graduate of high school, and as you all may know, I've helped, along with some really excellent people, put this on, be able to bring kind of my own perspective to this beautiful event and to bring all of you guys here. And so we come up here today to speak with all of you guys, and we all gathered up here for this one reason: to create a connection with the land, to create a connection with the water, and the people that live up here, the ones that will be affected. Because we'll all be affected by this pipeline, because we're here to say no. We've been saying no for thousands and thousands, for hundreds and hundreds of years, for as long as they've been proposing these things. We've said no. Because our way of life is beautiful. Our way of life has been able to continue on through our ancestors, and so it's only right that we do it for our grandchildren. And so I know I was supposed to speak a little bit about what we've been doing as youth down in the Twin Cities. That recently we went over to Rome, Italy, to meet with the Vatican to demand the abolishment of the doctrine of discovery. In the beginning, it kind of seemed like a thing that we wouldn't be able to do. Like, what kids from Minnesota go to Rome, Italy, right? That's just not something that would be possible. When we first brought it up, it was like, what? Like, we're not gonna go to Rome. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we started talking to people. We started going to churches and fundraising, and we were talking to them, saying, educating ourselves and everybody else. We were like, hey, like, did you guys hear about this thing, the doctrine of discovery, these papal bulls? They're still affecting us. And we wonder why we can't exercise our sovereignty. It's like, because these things are still happening. And so, yeah, in the beginning, looking back at it now, we were just a bunch of kids that watched a movie. And it was a documentary about the doctrine of discovery. Next thing you know, about a year and a half later, we found ourselves meeting with the Vatican, with officials, telling them about this doctrine, telling them about the papal bulls. And it's like, this is where it started. Like, how come you guys don't know about this thing? And it was basically us educating them. And we were like, what? They're like, we don't even see this as a thing that like, we don't use this thing anymore. We're like, well, you see what they're doing over in America? They are. They're using it strongly against us, and they have been since it was issued. So we went over there and we were like, we straight up said to that priest that met with us and the officials that were in that room, how much longer are you going to allow this to affect our people? How much longer are you going to let this continue on? Because it could go for another 100 years. But we're going to stand here. We're going to keep coming back to you. We're going to knock on your door. Say, we don't want this thing no more. Our ancestors didn't want it. We don't want it. And our grandchildren don't deserve that to happen to them. And one of the things I want to say to you all and to the young people that are in the room, that we're going to be the ones to birth the next generation. We're going to be the ones to create that generation of change. If it doesn't happen now, we know it'll happen with our children. Because we're going to be the ones to raise the ones who are going to change things. If it doesn't happen now, don't lose hope, because the children that we have, the children that we create, the grandchildren, the ancestors that we'll become, just know that there's strength in your teachings, there's strength in who you are. Never lose sight about that. Never lose the sight about who you are. Always, every day, think about the ancestors that made it possible for you to be here. Because next thing you know, we're going to be those ones. We're going to be the ones they look back and say, wow, I wouldn't have what I have today if it wasn't for my grandmother. You're going to become that grandmother, that grandfather of the children that are going to create change. So I want to thank you all for coming and listening to us. And just never lose faith, never lose sight in that beautiful green world that is possible, because we know it is. Because our ancestors lived that for many, 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 many years. And it'll continue on for many, many, many years to come. Because we won't stop fighting, we won't stop. Because our grandchildren, like my brother said, our grandchildren deserve a beautiful, clean, renewable energy world. Because it's possible. Because we know our ancestors lived that way. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.